Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to do a review of Monday Night Raw, and the first Raw that is that's going to lead us to Wrestlemania. Basically, the first Raw in the next few weeks, building up to things. I have to say it was a decent Raw. Like I said, the first official Raw leading into WrestleMania. Basically, we start out with Chris Jericho coming out, gloating in the fact that he's the World Heavyweight Champion again. Then Edge comes out and basically says, hey, that's great, now you're going to WrestleMania, but guess what? I choose you as my opponent. Basically, Edge choosing Jericho to face for the world title. So I'm guessing Edge wants to, I guess they want to continue this thing with Jericho and Edge and what happened, because of what happened last summer. And it's interesting because it's going to be the first time that Edge walks into WrestleMania as a babyface, if you will, or at least a face in some capacity, instead of as a heel like he's been doing the past 5 years. Also, we find out that Cena, who was the WWE champion, won the title at Elimination Chamber, then lost it to Batista. We find out that the reason Batista got the match with Cena at Elimination Chamber is because he made a deal with Vince McMahon, saying, hey, you take care of Bret Hart for me, I'll give you anything you want, basically. And I guess Batista says, I want a WWE title shot, but when I want it, basically when I say I want it. So that's basically what happened. And then Vince McMahon says, okay, you can have your rematch, Cena, but only on one condition: if you beat Batista tonight in a non-title match. If you don't, Sheamus gets the rematch. So, basically what happens is that in the main event, which is the last match on television, Batista gets himself DQ'd by giving Cena a low blow, and then he starts beating down on Cena, and he just keeps beating down on him, because every time he beats him down, Cena gets back up, and he's like, oh, come on, man, stay down. So it's going to be Cena and Batista for the WWE title at WrestleMania. Also, Maurice beats Gail Kim in the finals of the Divas tournament, which should have took place 2 days ago. And Maurice, for the second time, is the Divas champion. And I got a feeling they're going to set up something to where we might unify the Divas and women's title. I don't know. Also, Christian, we find out, well, I'll get to that in a little bit. Then we have a 6-man tag with Legacy and Orton, basically all 3 members of Legacy, against Kofi Kingston, Evan Bourne, and the newest Raw signee, if you will, Yoshitatsu, who was one of the 3 agents after ECW folded. And Yoshi, Kofi, and Evan actually win the match because Orton ends up DDTing Rhodes and RKOing DiBiase, because I guess, if you watched Raw last night, if not, this is one of the key points you want to look out for. It's like Orton and Rhodes have some kind of plan conspiring against, not Orton and Rhodes, but Rhodes and DiBiase have some kind of plan conspiring against Orton, and Orton ends up, I guess, staying a step ahead of them by DDTing and RKOing both members. And of course, that means, like I said, Evan, Yoshi, and Kofi win the match. So we'll see what happens there. I think we're going to have a handicap match, maybe a triple threat match, possibly a handicap match at WrestleMania. Then what? Oh yeah, we have Shawn Michaels confronting The Undertaker. Basically, Shawn Michaels said, hey, Undertaker, you left me with no choice. You wouldn't say yes the first time I asked you, so you left me with no choice but to cost you the world title, so now you have no choice but to face me. And Undertaker says, okay, you want the match that badly? You're on, but on one condition. If I have to put up the streak again, and I have to face you again, then you put up your career. And this is kind of, it's kind of like up there a little bit, because nobody wants to see nobody wants to see HBK retire just yet. Nobody wants to see his streak ruined. Some are rumoring that Triple H might find a way into this match, but I don't think so. I think what might happen is that they don't want either thing to be broken or over, either thing to be over. I think what they may do is do a draw. Is what I think they may do. They may do a draw at WrestleMania, which is crazy, but it might lead to that. And then Christian, who's also a new Raw signee, qualified for Money in the Bank by beating Carlito. Big Show and Miz interrupted the Divas Bull Riding contest, which is hosted by the guest hosts Ty Murray and Jewel. And then they get put into an impromptu tag team match, a tag team title match against MVP and Mark Henry, which they win because Mark Henry gets knocked out by the Big Show. And then of course during this match we see Brian Danielson, watching from the backstage area, and I definitely see something happening here. I definitely see Daniel Bryan basically costing The Miz his U.S. title or his tag titles in some way. I think this is going to be the first partnership, if you will, mentor rookieship, if you will. It's going to be broken up during the NXT situation. And I wouldn't be surprised if Miz makes it to Money in the Bank, that Daniel Bryan, Brian Danielson, whatever you want to call him, ends up costing The Miz that match. And heck, maybe they'll let Daniel Bryan, Brian Danielson be one of those guys that comes in and says, hey, look, I'm about wrestling. I don't need somebody that hasn't been in the business that long mentoring me and is only using the business and the company he works for to feed his own ego. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that. Hey, they might even do a match. Hey, if that happens, they might do a situation to where if Miz and Daniel face each other, the winner becomes the teacher, the loser becomes the student. So, I don't know. But anyway, alright. And let's see, what else? Oh yeah, we also find out that Rindy Richter is the newest Hall of Fame inductee, which I was a little surprised about because I thought with her past history of being screwed out of the women's title back in the mid-'80s due to the Moolah Black Spider situation, that I thought she'd never have anything to do with them again, but I guess hell freezes over, so there you go. Wendy Richter is going to be inducted, and she'll be inducted by Roddy Piper. What else? Oh yeah, Vince McMahon says he had nothing to do with what happened to Brett last week, and he's going to give Brett the opportunity to do a final farewell next week, which I think may lead into them finally having the match officially signed between Brett and McMahon. So that's something to look forward to. And really, that's all I can say about Raw. If I missed anything, I apologize. Oh yeah, Triple H and Sheamus weren't there because they were selling their injuries, even though Triple H participated in a dark match after Raw went off the air. And some saying, like I said, someone's thinking, maybe Triple H will be involved in the match between Taker and Michaels. I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is they're going to do Sheamus and Triple H at WrestleMania, but Sheamus is going to basically be blaming Triple H for costing him the title, and it might be a #1 contenders match, which will lead to them. It's going to be something. I think Sheamus is going to blame Triple H for costing him the title, and because maybe Triple H has some power and pull, and we might have a #1, and it might lead to a match, a #1 contenders match maybe at WrestleMania. We'll just have to see. I think maybe both will be putting their Money in the Bank. Who knows? But anyway, that's all I have to say about it, about Raw last night. If you got any comments, let me know. Post them down here, and I'll talk to you all later.